Welcome to another edition of Tiny Talks with Our Heroes. Today we're with Graham Brown. Graham, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am one of the founders of Brookes, and currently I'm on the board of Brookes Westshore School and Brookes Education Group.
And what was your vision when you founded Brookes Education Group?
When we started Brookes, we had a vision to create a network of international schools that were committed and which promoted the best educational principles and fostered diversity. And so this is one of the reasons why we really try to have schools all around the world so that we have diversity within our schools, but also as a network of schools.
And how do you see Brookes Education Group evolving in 5 years from now?
Well, I hope we continue to expand our network. We have a lot of places that we're exploring right now that we're considering. But I think if I were to say what is one of the reasons or how do we decide where to go, what we're really looking at is how and where we can make an impact. So it's not just about going into a place that already has a lot of good schools. We're trying to find places where maybe the type of education is not varied, where we have an opportunity to go in and work with the existing schools that are there, but also challenge them, challenge those schools to innovate, learn from them, but also collaborate with them. With the idea, again, the goal of education has to be for the school to provide the best education and serve the community.
And so what other roles are you taking part in right now?
Well, in addition to being a director within Brookes, I am actually, my full-time job is as the Associate Dean at the Gustafson School of Business at the University of Victoria. So I've been a professor for 17 years now and Associate Dean at the University of Victoria for 4 years.
And talking about universities, what do you think are the attributes that universities are looking for when they're selecting students to be part of their university? That's a great question. Well, I would say that universities are really looking for students who are going to be engaged. So they're looking for people who are going to contribute to the community, and so that could be whether that's joining clubs or helping other students, mentoring other students, working in the community. But the idea is that university is an opportunity, and it's a privilege, and so. Universities impart this knowledge, helps shape students, and what we're really looking for in universities is, what are students going to do with that opportunity? I can see that the impact nowadays of technology it's really taking over and impacting the university as well. How do you see the universities recruiting in the future, or what kind of qualifications will they be looking into the future students?
Well, I think, everyone is, certainly as you said, there's far more technology used in the university. We've just come through the pandemic, or at least we hope we're near the end of it. And, during at the very start, we shifted to an online delivery, and then we went back to face-to-face, and I can see moving forward, there's going to be that hybrid. So there is technology, and it's enhanced the educational experience for the students. But in terms of what is the university experience like for students? I think it's still, if we look back, before the technology, really, it was about universities and instructors and faculty were there at the front of the room. They held the knowledge, they created the knowledge, and then they imparted the knowledge through a lecture. And that's not the way things happen anymore. And I don't think the students would tolerate it anymore. There's so much knowledge out there that you can access, and the students have access to it. So they come to class with much more knowledge, and knowledge is no longer the privilege of just a few. And so everybody has the knowledge, but what do you do with that knowledge? And so I think universities right now are focused on, how do you ask good questions? How do you sort through the enormity of knowledge that exists? And then universities have moved a lot more towards experiential learning. So at the University of Victoria, it's a mandate of the university that every student who goes there is going to have an experiential learning opportunity, whether that's co-op, whether that's a field study,
But the idea there is to understand that knowledge doesn't reside just in a book or online, but you need to know how to apply it and understand the context about it.
Yeah. And I think in certain way, Brookes Westshore, being an IB school, does not necessarily focus on instructing students to learn content, because actually we have the information at the tip of our fingers with our phones, the Babylonia of today. We just can Google it through our phone. So the content per se is no longer a novelty, but what it is important is how we use and how we make a positive use of that knowledge towards positive contributions to our community. So putting the student's mind into that contribution to our community, I think, is crucial. And I think you also founded another interesting program, the leadership program, the Powerful Youth program. You were a visionary for that as well.
Sure. Well, I mean, thank you. But I see that what I've done is to be very true to myself. And so I have a passion for education, and I believe that education is the way forward for society, but for individuals, and that through education, we can improve society and everyone can benefit. And so, but I believe that actually starts very young. And so a lot of times people would look at leadership training and say, oh, well, you have to be a leader first, or you have to be an executive in a corporation. But the problem is that those people are 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 years old. And I'm not saying that it's too late, but why not start that process earlier? Why not learn some of those skills? And so I believe that young people want to make a difference, but they don't always know how. And so I developed in concert with my colleague David Sharon, we developed Powerful Youth, which really teaches students the skills to create their own social ventures, to use their passions. And I think that commonality of believing in students, of helping them identify their passion, that's what I hope I brought to Brookes. It's what I hope I brought to Powerful Youth, and what I continue in the university as well.
So it's definitely a change of paradigm, where education before used to be teacher-centered and now is working all together and is centered on the skills that students can use, finding their passion that we all have. So unlocking that potential can really help the students be part of the future today. Thank you so much, Grant, for your time and opportunity and your contributions.
My pleasure. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you.